Let's get it, y'all. I'm feeling decent today. As soon as I get done with this, I'm gonna have to go check out the. Looks like Richard West just dropped a little video breakdown. I'm gonna have to check that out. So the Sacramento Kings are finalizing a deal to keep Doug Christie as coach. An AP source says he was the interim coach, so he had an interim coaching stint that ended with a loss in the play-in tournament. A person familiar with the deal spoke anonymously, and they said the Kings are finalizing a multi-year contract with Christie. The person again spoke anonymously because the team hadn't made an announcement. ESPN first reported the decision. Christie took over after Mike Brown was fired in late December and posted a 27-24 record in his interim stint. Sacramento made it into the play-in tournament as the 9th seed, but lost its home game to Dallas. And there it is right there. They lost by 14 points. They lose 120-106. Right there. And general manager Monty McNair and the team mutually parted ways immediately following that game. And Scott Perry was hired as his replacement. All right. So the Kings, man. I mean, in my lifetime, all of my 43 years, they've never really been good. I mean, they've had some seasons where they were good, but they've never really achieved any kind of success. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? A couple good seasons. I think it was the Kings that they may have got screwed a couple of times in the playoffs back in the day. But not a team known for success, right? Okay, so it looks like, are they trying like another little rebuild here? Now they got a new coach, general manager Monty McNair, and the team, they part ways. Scott Perry was hired as his replacement. Now we get the new coach, Doug Christie, and Doug Christie is a former NBA player as well. Looks like he played for 7 NBA teams. The Clippers. Look, he played for the Mavericks and the Kings, okay? Isn't that interesting? So he played for the Mavericks and the Kings, and it's the Mavericks who beat the Kings in the play-in tournament game. You see that? Right there? And the Kings scored 106 points in that loss, and the game was on the 16th. I'm noticing right there. Perry said he wanted to come to a quick resolution on the coaching decision, and he did that by keeping Christie in the role. The two will now try to get the Kings back to the postseason after losing in the play-in tournament the past 2 seasons, okay? I remember the Kings, they were kind of like popping when they had Chris Webber, and they may have had a couple of opportunities possibly in the past to do good. I just can't quite remember. They may have got beat out by like the Lakers or something in the playoffs. I can't remember 100% right now, but that was a long time ago. I'll see if Google possibly can answer that. You see, they had Pedro Stojakovic, Mike Bibby, and Chris Webber. So I mean, that was a decent team, but really never able to achieve anything in my lifetime. Uh, Let's see if Google, let me try to ask Google this real quick. What kind of success has the Kings had in the What kind of success has the Sacramento Kings had in the playoffs in their history? Oh, okay, it's not really gonna. The Kings missed the playoffs for the 18th time in 19 years with an NBA play-in loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Okay. So, yeah, that's not good. So, if you're talking even before that, I mean, that's a long time ago regardless. Yeah, a team not known for being very good. Okay, so let's get into this breakdown here, all right? Now, check it out. So I told you Christie took over the Kings after Mike Brown was fired in late December. Isn't this amazing? Because Mike Brown used to coach LeBron James. You see that? With the Cavs? And I don't follow sports like I used to, but when I do these breakdowns, obviously I'm going to keep up on some of my knowledge here. And I remember that. Okay. So isn't that interesting that he ends up being the coach of the Sacramento Kings after being known for coaching King James LeBron, right? Okay, and right? What do you think? And you even get Sacramento, which is in California, like Los Angeles. He coaches LeBron with the Cavs, as you see in the pic there. And LeBron goes on to play for the Los Angeles Lakers, Los Angeles in California, like Sacramento. You get that King connection. He may have coached him another time in his career. I'm not 100% sure at the moment. But I am 100% sure that he coached King James. Then he became a coach of the Kings basketball team in Sacramento. Now you get Doug Christie taking over for him, as Doug Christie is going to move on as the full-time head coach here. Now you look at the initials of the full name, Douglas Dale Christie. You get DDC, and I just did this breakdown, and look at the initials of this character, DDC, Derek Dallas Carr. With the little sermon he gave at church, he says people are lying about him. He says he's got a shoulder injury. And I just took this slide from that breakdown. But isn't that amazing? Because you get DDC, but you get the Dallas connection. Remember, Doug Christie played for the Dallas Mavericks as well as the Kings, and then the Dallas Mavericks just beat the Kings in the play-in tournament. So isn't that amazing how this is all by the language? And you get Derek Dallas Carr trending, and you get DDC like Douglas Dale Christie. The world is fake by the language, all right? I keep proving it daily, and I'm proving it still with the King connection, DDC, Douglas Dale Christie, Derek Dallas Carr. You get the Mavericks connection as the Mavericks beat the Kings in the play-in tournament. I keep proving the stuff daily, y'all. Okay? Now notice, it's not a coincidence that Doug Christie, he comes on as the full-time coach going forward now after this interim stint. It's not a coincidence we get this story about him now. And it's not a coincidence that this is right before his birthday hits. Okay? He's got the May 9th birthday. It's also not a coincidence that his birthday is 4 days after Mike Brown, the coach he takes over for. Or, oops, excuse me. Mike Brown has the March 5th birthday. My bad. But notice Mike Brown, M, Mike, and he's got the March birthday, and again that syncs up with May. So yeah, I guess when I put this together, I thought that was May. But you know what we'll do? If we revisit that later, we'll see if we may have a 35 or a 53, and I may even run that birthday on the fly. But look, Mike M, March M with his birthday, March 5th, and then Doug Christie's got the 5th month birthday. So that works right there. And you want to see something else? So maybe we can just make up for that right now. Look at this. Mike Brown birthday. Look at this. It's the 5th, but look at his age. He is 55 years old. You see that? So you get the 5s right there. And I just caught something else too. So you got Mike M. He gets replaced by Doug Christie. Mike Brown is 55 years old. His birthday's on the 5th of March. And then Doug Christie has the 5th month birthday in May right there. And look what else I just caught with Mike Brown. Look at his full name. And it connects with another story that I'm working on right now. Look at his middle name, Burton. And look at the story trending that I'm working on right now. Halliburton. You see that? And look how it says sparking in the title. This is on the fly. Sparking like Kings. Sparking Sacramento Kings. Look at that on the fly with the connection with King James and Mike Brown. Tyrese Halliburton scolds his father for sparking post-game fracas after the Pacers eliminate the Bucks. So look at the language on the fly. Halliburton, Michael Burton Brown. You see that? Christie takes over for Michael Burton Brown on the Kings, right? And then it says sparking right in the language here. You get King in there. Not a coincidence, right? That was all on the fly right there. Not a coincidence. And you want to see another connection real quick. And none of this was planned. This is what separates me from other decoders. I have the slides, and then we hit on the fly like this, okay? Notice his name, Michael, right? And he's connected to Doug Christie, okay? Look at Doug Christie's birthday, 5'9". Michael Jordan equals 59 in the language, okay? So you see how all of this stuff is connected. And obviously, there's the Doug Christie birthday right there. And obviously, Michael Jordan is connected with King James, LeBron. All right. So you like that? That was super nice. So all of that right there was on the fly, okay? Based off of that March 5th birthday for Mike Brown. Isn't that awesome? I think so. And we may revisit that birthday here in a bit. Look at how Sacramento Kings equals 236 in the reverse cipher. Anybody can do this. This is a fact. This isn't my opinion. 236, reverse. Z would be 1, A would be 26. Look at that. The Doug Christie upcoming birthday leaves 236 days in the year. And again, he takes over as head coach moving forward right before his birthday. Sacramento Kings 236 in the language. His May 9th birthday leaves 236 days. And don't forget that the Queen Elizabeth II, her birthday just hit April 21st. Okay? So, as I speak right now, we're on April 30th. So this is just after the Queen Elizabeth II's birthday. And we get a Sacramento Kings story. The Pope, he died on the Queen's birthday. So you get the Queen King thing going on here. All right? And you see the purple, like royalty with the King's logo, purple associated with the Queen. Pope P, purple P. Elizabeth II's husband, Prince Philip, PP. The musician Prince also died on this day in Paisley Park, PP. P's the 16th letter of the alphabet. The musician Prince died in 2016. Anyways, the Pope dies on this day, and look, the Pope stands in the place of Jesus himself as the vicar. Is that how you say it? Of Christ on earth. You see that? Of Christ on earth. And we get the Doug Christie story with the Kings taking over as coach after the interim stint. Christie, you see Christ in his last name. It says he's a former actor. They're all actors in the NBA as far as I'm concerned. Christie, like Christ. Pope, like Christ. Elizabeth II. Kings, queens, fake world, riddles, King James connected, Derek Dallas Carr connected with the Mavericks, beating the Kings in the play-in tournament. Doug Christie, a member of the Kings as a player and a member as the Mavericks, also takes over as Kings head coach. What's going on here? It's a fake world. Look what else I just saw. Doug Christie played at Pepperdine University. And watch this. Let's see if we can get Google to speak to us so I don't have to do it. Where did Doug Christie go to college?
According to Wikipedia, Christie graduated from Rainier Beach High in 1988. He then went on to Pepperdine University, studying sociology.
Okay, they didn't tell us, but look at this. Pepperdine University affiliated. Look at this. Pepperdine University is a private Christian university. Christian Research University affiliated with the Churches of Christ. And this is Doug Christie. Like Christ. And I just showed you the Pope connection, dying on the Queen's birthday. The Pope associated with Christ. What do you think about that? You cannot recreate this energy. You cannot. And look at all, we get some 19s on the fly. The Kings missed the playoffs for the 18th time in 19 years. Christie averaging 19 points per game during his final 2 seasons at Pepperdine. And look at when we pull up Christie, his last season with the LA Clippers, 1.9 points a game. You see that? It looks like Doug Christie is also born in 1970. Like Mike Brown, also. How many times did Mike Brown coach LeBron? Wow, look at this. We get a Doug Christie birthday connection on the fly. Look at this. Mike Brown, whom he had coached LeBron for 5 years in Cleveland. Look at this. On May 9th, 2022, he was the Warriors' acting head coach for Game 4. Maybe it was going to say the Western Conference Finals. Look at the 5'9". That's Doug Christie's birthday. Oh, it's magic. quick. You see that? Now they're connected with the Kings. Ah, you like that? So I think that well then made up for that small error, and which wasn't even an error with the March 5th birthday. I thought it was May 5th, 4 days before Christie's birthday. So you think we made up for that? I think so. Of course, King equals 23. Doug Christie's upcoming birthday, a 23 date numerology. And LeBron King James, obviously known for that 23. Michael Jordan, known for the 23. Doug Christie's birthday, 5/9. Michael Jordan equals 59. They even show Doug Christie with a guy who wears number 23 on the Kings. Right here, just when I put Doug Christie College, look, here's a guy with number 23. I don't know who that guy is. Is that De'Aaron Fox? I don't know. De'Aaron Fox got traded, didn't he? De'Aaron Fox? Okay, I don't think that. But look at De'Aaron Fox averaging 23.5 points. It looks like he landed on the Spurs. Anyways, I don't want to get too far off here. Damn, what do you think? What do you think? Pretty nice, huh? Pretty damn nice there. I would say those are some undeniable connections. The Mike Brown thing hit heavy. That hit heavy. We're gonna scroll down the article before we wrap this up. If you're still here, shout out to y'all. That Dallas connection was big with DDC, Derek Dallas Carr. Damn, right? Sacramento has the 5th worst record in the NBA since Vivek Ranadiv took over as owner. 5th. Mike Brown, born on the 5th of March. Doug Christie, the 5th month birthday. And Mike Brown, age 55 right now. Come on, man. And look, the team had 5 lead executives and 9 head coaches in that span. Again, that's the Doug Christie birthday, 5/9. Fake world, fake world, fake world. The Kings hope the new team of Perry and Christie brings needed stability to the franchise. I think they said Perry is the new GM. The team has a core in place led by Domantas Sabonis. Doesn't that sync up with the Pope? That kind of sounds like where the Pope lived and died. Dome Sancta Marte or whatever. So we're seeing a lot of this stuff within the language. They have DeMar DeRozan, who also played for the Bulls, right? Zach LaVine, who also played for the Bulls. So there's that MJ connection. So MJ obviously connected with King James. And look at all the M's. Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, and remember Doug Christie's birthday, 5/9. Michael Jordan equals 59 in the language. The team likely won't have a first round draft pick. The Kings have a 3.8% chance of moving into the top 4 in the lottery. Otherwise, the pick will go to Atlanta as part of the previous deal made for Kevin Huerter. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? There was a death connected with Kevin Love. It was like his dad or his grandpa or something. I forgot to do that breakdown. Now that it's coming to my memory. But wow, what do you think about this? That just hit this whole breakdown. So about 40% of this breakdown was on the fly with everything that was said here. 40% of that was on the fly, y'all. And on the fly with this breakdown, probably hit better than what I had in the slides. Amazing. Look how Christie equals 53 in reverse reduction right here. And that's the Mike Brown birthday, the 5th day of the 3rd month. You like that? That's huge right there. Kings are finalizing a deal to keep Doug Christie. And don't forget, Doug Collins coached Michael Jordan in Chicago when Jordan first broke into the league, didn't he? You can go look into that if you want. So you get DC again, and you see how all of these characters are connected. Kings are finalizing a deal to keep Doug Christie as coach, an AP source says. Shout out to y'all. Until next time.